Everyone, welcome to the show. I have a very special guest today. You guys are definitely going to be excited to hear from him. This is David Wheeler. He is the I can speak today, founder of American Muckrakers. It's a political action committee, and you guys know I covered just recently. He is suing Lauren Boebert. He is trying to take her down, actually, to just get her to admit that she has lied about him. He is also credited with making Madison Cawthorn a one-term Republican congressman. So, as I said, he's now on to Lauren Boebert. He released some information about her. She claims that it's false. He claims that it's true. So, welcome, David.
Glad to be here. Hey, thanks for having me. It's exciting to actually get to talk about this.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk with you about it. So I'm sure the first question that comes to everyone's mind is, how did you hear? How did you come to hear about these allegations against Lauren Boebert? Did you seek them out? Did people come to you?
People came to us. I mean, the original tip about her abortions came through somebody that I'd met through Twitter, and we had long phone discussions. And then she introduced me to her source, and then I went out to Colorado and met with that source multiple days
Mm,
to get my arms around the story and assess her credibility, and made the determination that what she was talking about and what she was proclaiming was true.
okay. And have any of these witnesses that you've spoken with signed any sworn statements? Have they provided you any documentation or?
Well, yeah, actually, a lot of them have provided documentation, and anybody could see those documents at Wheeler and I'm sorry, at AmericanMuckrakers.com/defamation.
Okay.
We posted not only the complaint that we filed in federal court in Denver, but we posted all of the exhibits. So there's almost 100 exhibits there that you can poke through, and you can see exactly what we were given. You can
Okay.
listen to the phone calls where former friends of the Boebert family talk about meth use. I mean, this is the crux of this case is the information we received was from credible individuals, and most of it was recorded phone calls. And you can listen to it yourself.
Okay.
Lordy, there's tapes,
Yeah.
as they
A lot
say.
of tapes going around lately.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Uh, cool. Okay. So everybody can go there, as he said, AmericanMuckrakers.com, is it, or .org?
.com.
Okay. Okay. And you mentioned in the lawsuit that you are leaving open the option to or possibility to maybe sue Fox or Sean Hannity, both, many other people. Is that still an option?
That is still an option. My attorney, Dan Ernst in Denver, who is also a First Amendment constitutional law officer, and teaches at two lawyers. So he is clearly an expert on First Amendment law.
Hmm.
Um, he inserted into the case John Doe's 1 through 20. And that was because we were up against a statute of limitations guide or deadline, and we didn't
Mm.
have the information we needed to confirm those additional defendants.
Oh, okay.
But I can announce to you, this will be news on your show, that we are indeed are asking Fox News to do a search of their email system with a very simple keyword, David Wheeler,
Hmm.
and we're asking them to return that. And if their attorney, a guy named Steve Mandel, won't comply voluntarily, then we're going to have to subpoena, and there'll probably be a
Okay.
big fight over that in federal court.
And how long do they have to comply with that before you take further action?
Well, there's a process of, the lawyers tend to have pretty good relationships at the start of these, and they want to create some goodwill. So they'll probably be, we'll set a deadline of maybe 10 days or 12, 10 or 12 days where we'd like a response from them. And if
Mm-hmm.
they're going to deny our request voluntarily, then the subpoena would be issued, and we'd probably have to go to court to get that enforced.
Okay. And you said you've already made that request or you're about to?
Well, Dan Ernst, again, the attorney, is actually sending that letter today. If
Okay.
it hasn't been sent already, it's being sent just today. So,
Oh, wow.
so
Okay.
that's news here on your show, and I
Yeah.
think it'll be interesting to see how they respond because up to this point, they've essentially said, you're fly shit, get out of our space, get out of our face.
Mm-hmm.
But based upon the Dominion lawsuit and the precedent that has been kind of set, well, not legal precedent, but
Yeah.
uh, procedural precedent that's
Behavioral.
been set, behavioral.
Yeah.
They essentially did the same thing with Lauren Boebert. I mean, they gave her the platform to defame me,
Mm-hmm.
discredit me, and hurt my living.
Yeah.
My ability to make a living.
Yeah. I did hear recently too, they're in talks with Abby, I think it's Goldberg, who
Mm-hmm.
was the employee for Tucker Carlson, who
Mm-hmm.
claims that they, mistreated her and sexual harassment and things like that. So I heard that they're
And we've
negotiating
named
a
her.
settlement with her right now.
Well, and we have named her as one of the people we'd like to see the emails because
Mm,
we in this letter that's going out, and eventually it'll be a subpoena because they're not going to apply voluntarily.
hmm
We're asking for Lachlan Murdoch's emails to him, Suzanne Scott,
hmm
John Hannity, the whole kit and caboodle there, because we believe it. I believe, we still have to look at the information they provide, but if you think about this, I mean, it was a conspiracy because they worked behind the scenes in pretty quick fashion with Boebert and her staff to create this platform for her to essentially defend allegations and then attack. And that doesn't happen as quickly as it did in this situation. Remember, it was a
hmm
fury and a flurry, and it doesn't happen in a situation like this unless it's a conspiracy because a lot of things have to fall into place very quickly. Um,
hmm
and the fact that the other side of that story is, and I try to be fair minded about this thing. And had she just said it, once or twice, I probably could have handled that. It's politics. But she just went over and over on multiple shows
hmm
with audiences of millions. Not only
hmm
Hannity, but Tommy Loren and some of these other knuckleheads. And she just went on and on and on. And I think the mistake these folks made was, number one, they didn't necessarily analyze or vet what she was saying. And then secondly, asked repeatedly all of these other individuals to please give me an opportunity to appear on the show and defend myself or have a debate with her. I mean, can you imagine the ratings if somebody,
Yeah.
Sean Hannity had myself and Lauren Boebert on a show to debate her
hmm
past? Um, and they refused at every turn.
Wow. Well, the platform, I'm opening up my show to her if she'd like to come on here and
Well,
discuss it
who knows? She may. She's gonna,
and and
she.
debate with you.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to debate. I don't think she'll ever debate with me, but um, who knows? You actually ought to issue the invitation because she's in a tough fight. And I
Yeah.
think she knows it. She didn't take us very seriously, the American Muckrakers
Yeah.
group very seriously in the first election, and I think she's taken us a lot more.
Yeah, hopefully. Or
Mhm.
maybe not. Maybe we hope that she doesn't take it seriously.
Well, yeah. Who
uh,
knows? Who knows?
Now, you did something interesting. You sent me something last night I wanted to share with our audience, and I will edit it in so they can see it for themselves. But you've reached out to the Guinness Book of World Records. Can you
Yeah, again,
tell my
yeah.
audience what you've asked them to include now?
Well, it was actually an idea that came across through another one of our supporters, and so we there is a process where you go to you know Guinness World Records website
Hmm.
to apply for a new world record, and we'd like to create a category for world's dumbest politician, based upon IQ and some other factors. And
There's
so
a
we've made a
lot of
formal.
competition.
There will be a huge competition. Um, but we made it official uh, application, paid the fee, and so we're waiting to hear back from them. And we'll make some more news. This will
Mhm.
be on CNN soon, I'm sure. But we're going to actually have um, a ceremony and present her with an award in Colorado. We assume she's not going to show up, so we have an impersonator that's going to come and play her, and we're going to present her with the award, and then have some fun around.
Oh, how fun. And when will that be?
I think probably late summer, early fall.
Okay.
It's kind of early. It's a tough time of the year to get much attention, and we want to
Hmm.
kind of build up to it then. So, but I think we're going to have it in Pueblo. That's where our impersonator lives. It's very good, and we worked
Okay.
fast. We thought
Okay.
about having a drag queen come accept it on her
That
behalf,
now
but
that would
then
be fun.
or maybe we'll have a drag queen contest on dress up like Lauren Boebert, in addition to our dumbest politician in the world award.
Oh, that's pretty good. That is
Yeah,
funny.
yeah, we're gonna have fun with it. In politics needs some levity once in a while, and we had
Yeah.
a team call yesterday, and that was part of what motivating us to do this. Is we're obviously tough politically, and maybe we get a little too serious or too serious about ourselves sometimes. So it's
Right.
the idea of providing some levity and campaign season that's going to be nasty is part of our motivation. Is
Oh yeah. You gotta keep laughing if you can.
exactly,
I, I
exactly.
try to put a little bit of levity into all of my shows so that people don't get too
Yeah,
depressed.
yeah. Well, you can imagine what this is going to look like. I mean, I'm an event person, so I can visualize the stage and presenting the award and what the
Hmm.
visuals are going to be in hopefully in newspapers, and we'll stream it live and have some fun with it. So,
Oh, cool. Cool. Well, it sounds like fun.
yeah, yeah. Well, maybe we'll invite our ex-husband to come and present and help present the award.
Yeah,
And
I can't
see
wait till
see
those two
whether.
start going at it in court. That's going to
And I
be
think it's going
real
to happen. I've
interesting.
actually, yeah, I've had some text messages back and forth with her husband.
Oh,
We're
really?
certainly not friends, but um, it's been cordial, and I think he's hurting right now. So I don't want to, deride his emotional
Hmm.
roller coaster right now. But I think he's having a tough time with it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Divorce is tough.
Yeah.
Has he shared anything with you that you can share with my audience or?
Well, nothing other than we had a rumor that unconfirmed that she had dumped her 15-year-old son in the adjacent town. She lives in Silt, and for some reason, I think he'd had an argument with his father or with somebody, and she was tired of it, and she dumped him in a town. And there were multiple people telling us this, and so I just texted Jason just to say, hey, is there any truth to this? He didn't really want to talk about that, but then he texted me
Mm.
later on that night, talking about the divorce, and I don't know if thought I was somebody else or what, but he kind of opened up to to divorce. Now it's hurting.
Mm, yeah. I mean, I do feel bad for the kids, you know. I mean, they are a creation of their environment. They
That's
seem
right.
to have issues, and I don't blame them for it. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and we try and stay away from kid issues. This one was one that it was more a reflection of Lauren Boebert and her attitude towards everybody. It just seems like she's in a fight with everybody all the time. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just very awkward. She fights people. She's fighting MTG last week on the floor. And then
Hmm.
she comes home and has arguments with her kids, and then she's got a big argument coming with her husband, and she's got an argument with us, and
Yeah.
to me, it's a weird way to run your life, and
Yeah.
and politically, it's an awkward way to present yourself when talk about this quite a bit. Politics is about addition; it's not about subtraction.
Right.
And she doesn't seem to understand that all of her actions will have an effect upon
Yeah.
how voters perceive her.
Well, I think the old saying is true that hurt people, and I think we have too many people in government right now, especially on the Republican Party, who have clearly been through some things in their lives
Mm-hmm.
and haven't dealt with that trauma, and unfortunately, they're taking it out on the rest of the world. So,
Yeah, yeah. And then there are other examples of folks that have been through things that I think are very positive impact. One of my
mhm,
mentors and good friends is Tom Vilsack, and he grew up uh, as an uh, in a household with alcohol, and then was adopted at one point. And he's turned all that angst and that negativity into a positive, and you'll never
mhm,
find a more positive
yeah,
person with a positive outlook than Tom Vilsack.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I grew up in a very volatile situation,
Mm,
to say the least, and I know of what I speak when I say that, hurt people, because I was very much like Lauren Boebert,
mm, mm,
looking for a fight everywhere, my fists
mm-hmm,
up, ready to protect myself and from some imaginary threat,
mm-hmm.
but you eventually, hopefully, grow up,
Right,
as they
right.
say, rise above your raisin, figure shit out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
And
and she doesn't seem to have that capacity. I
yeah.
mean, listen. I don't wish any ill will upon her family or her husband. But it seems like she's not a child. She's not
Mhm,
20. Isn't it time for her to grow up and kind of face the reality of the world, and you know
right.
what, maybe take responsibility for something you do once
Yeah.
and apologize. What's wrong with,
Mhm,
hey, you know district, I haven't been doing as good a job as I could, but I'm
right.
going to do better.
Yeah.
you know but I don't think she has the mental fortitude to do that.
Yeah. No, it takes a very strong person and secure person to
Right.
admit that, yeah, I've screwed up. I made
Yeah,
mistakes.
exactly.
I haven't
Yeah,
been my best self, and I want to be better.
right.
She clearly
And set
doesn't
an
have that
example for our
ability.
kids, for God's sake.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's still time. Let's hope, she somehow grows up and comes to that realization, but I'm
Yeah,
not
and
going to
that's the I mean,
not going to hold
that's
my breath.
yeah, I hear you loud and clear, but I think that's the worst part of it is there are people in Colorado that need help. I mean, there are individuals in our district that aren't getting any support. The
Yeah.
district, there was a article out, I think, by one of the Colorado publications yesterday, that the average um, congressional outlay was about 4.3 billion. Her district only got 3 billion, and it's
Oh,
because
wow.
she's such an asshole and she treats people with such disdain where she goes, that she hasn't been able to get the funding that And her district is 2/3 of the landmass of Colorado.
Wow.
So she's clearly doing something wrong for the people, and that's why Adam Fish kick her ass, I
Yeah.
hope.
Well,
And
she's
we
not
won't.
in. She's never in there for the right reasons,
No,
you know.
no. And she doesn't spend much time there either. She's all in Washington, or she's gallivanting off. She spent. Here's a weird thing. I don't. We posted about it. It didn't get much traction, but 2 weeks before the election in October of 2022,
Hmm.
um, she spent like 3 days in Knoxville, Tennessee, at some musician's home. She had a fundraiser, two fundraisers. She spent 3 days there, and that was a day of travel on each end,
Hmm.
um, out of district before an election.
Is this the
So
guy I've seen the pictures of with the long hair?
no, it's a different guy. This
Oh,
is John
okay.
Rich, I think's this guy's name, and he's
Okay.
another one of those nut jobs, like the other guy with the curly hair. Everybody calls him Pastor Fuck, Pastor Fuke, something like that. Anyway, I've tried to reach out to him too because he's quite a character.
Hmm.
He has amassed wealth around being an insurrectionist. It's unbelievable. Um,
Wow.
and there are lots of rumors, two of them, but
Yeah.
I don't have anything firm on that.
Okay. The other thing I wanted to ask you about is part of your lawsuit mentioned you're trying to alter the law in Colorado under what is the SLAP
Yeah,
laws?
anti-slap act, which I think originated in California.
Hmm.
And the idea there was, let's stop kind of non-meritorious lawsuits against politicians, against office holders, against
Right.
newspapers, journalists. But what we're doing is we're saying the same applies to people whose First Amendment rights have been violated. And we believe First Amendment rights are being trampled all over by this person in power. So
Hmm.
instead of the politician having a little protection, it should also flow to the person who uh, believes their First Amendment rights are being trampled. So
Right.
again, my lawyer Dan, it's a very unique case. If we were to be successful, it would be a precedent, as far as we know, hasn't been set in this country. But it's clear if you read the language of the Colorado anti-SLAPP law, that was their intention. It's actually different
Mm.
than Colorado's because it goes a little bit further about the intentionality
Okay.
legislators had when they passed the law. So Dan is trying to maneuver us to help make law at the same time protect individuals' First Amendment.
Oh, that's cool. Well, I
Yeah, yeah, it's very
hopefully it's
unique.
successful. Yeah. So any other politicians you're working on right now? You got stuff cooking or taking
Well,
in
yeah,
tips?
we put out a poll yesterday and an email to folks seeking their input. I think one of our, everybody wants us to go after MTG and Matt Getz, and
Hmm.
unfortunately, those districts, it's just not, they're impenetrable at this point.
Yeah.
And one of my, I love Marcus Flowers. I think he's a great guy. I think he's working hard, but that race was not worth $16 million
Mm.
when he ran against MTG.
Hmm.
And I'm not ripping him on this. I do think I have a problem with media consultant spent all that money.
Hmm.
Imagine what, we essentially spent 250 in all of 2020, 2000, $250,000. Yeah, we got rid of Cawthorn. We
Right.
were part of a coalition that got rid of Cawthorn. We don't take solar. And then we went after Boebert, and we came within, or Adam Frisch came within 546 votes of getting rid of her. And that's a
Right.
coalition. We don't take more responsibility than is owed to us. But imagine if we would have had another $1 million to go after, or even, $250,000 to go after Boebert,
Hmm.
because we weren't just doing uh, following up on tips. We did some radio, we did some billboards, we do lots of other communication
Hmm.
behind the scenes that reinforces the things that we do uncover. For example, we had
Right.
a radio ad around the dogs that died.
Hmm.
That letting dog owners, and it was very targeted to dog owners,
Hmm.
that make sure they knew that Lauren Boebert had two dogs killed on her property and didn't.
Wow.
So imagine what we could do with a little more money.
Yeah.
And that's why I have a problem with what happened in Georgia and MTG's. Such a
Yeah.
colossal,
Yeah. Yeah. You have to be smart with the funds you have.
or spread it around. I mean, they could have easily taken 5 million of that and given 1 million to Tim Ryan. Tim Ryan
Hmm.
could have used that in Ohio, and he
Ohio. Yeah.
might have been able to close the gap.
Yeah. Yeah. He did seem, I'm not a huge Tim Ryan fan, but he did seem like a
Right.
good fit for that district.
Yeah, and he worked his rear off. I mean, he
Yeah.
worked as hard as any candidate I've seen in my life, and he would have been such a great member of the Senate versus
Yeah. Or state. Yeah. Yeah.
uh, Vance.
Yeah.
I mean, such a better
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. Vance.
yeah, yeah. What a joke. I wouldn't be surprised if he quit before his term was up. He just seems so bored. He's not doing anything.
Yeah. Yeah. He's one of those faux populists.
Didn't really know what he was getting himself in.
Yeah, much like Trump in that way. I think that they want the notoriety, but not necessarily to have to do the work.
Right. That's right. Yeah, and I was an intern with Senator Tom Harkin, and he certainly wasn't perfect, but man, he worked hard.
Yeah.
He understood where his bread was buttered. And these guys that get into this stuff why is JD Vance in the United States Senate? I mean, what does he intend to accomplish?
Yeah.
He's gonna represent authors. He's gonna represent turncoats. I don't know. What is he doing there? What is he
Yeah.
doing for the people of Ohio? More important, nada,
Yeah.
nothing.
I think it's so often more what they're going to get when they get out of office, the jobs that they get
Mhm.
lined up and
I guess. I actually met Sherrod Brown when I was in high school. He came over to Iowa.
Mhm.
He came and spoke to a conference that the Secretary of State, who I was with at the time, and man, what a sharp contrast. Sherrod Brown versus J.D. Vance.
Yeah.
And, you know, Sherrod Brown is the kind of politics I grew up with. And I sure hope we can get back to that. And I do think Adam is in the same vein as Sherrod Brown and some of the Tom Harkin and some of the other great populists. Understands they're going to Washington.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, unless we get money out of politics, I don't think that they're going to be few and far between. Until we stop them from trading stock and
Yeah.
stop all this dark money flowing in, and yeah, and then the revolving doors with all of the industries, and yeah, there's just too
Yeah,
much
it's true.
incentive.
I mean, I'm running for the state senate as well, or the state commissioner of insurance up here. I ran for the state senate in 18, and I was talking to a CEO, former CEO, both of you the other day, and just said, "Isn't it pathetic that I have to call and ask thousands and essentially just turn them over to more rich guys that own TV stations?"
Yeah.
I mean, it's really a stupid process. I just wish, here in North Carolina, we had a public financing mechanism that they got rid of, I think, about 10 or 15 years ago.
Mm.
It just seems to me that you're right. Until we come up with a better way to fund campaigns or manage or regulate campaigns. It's just a free for all,
Yeah.
and we're getting what we deserve. Bunch
Yep.
of rich people's candidates.
Yeah. The system just attracts the wrong type of people. I mean, if you're a public servant, that it should be you are a public servant, that you
Exactly.
only get money from the public, only small dollar donations. Yeah, it's a sick system.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more about until money gets out of it, it's a joke. I mean, but we can't I can't, unilaterally disarm either. I mean, I've got to raise that money. Otherwise I don't have a chance in the pack. That's why we're always banging people for money
Yeah,
is, that's how we get things done. And look what we've done with, I think we've raised 50 this year. So we're up 300 in, years. We started in 21. That is that's a pittance,
yeah,
pittance compared to what some of these other PACs raise. And
yeah,
I think the only ones that are really good at it are, Lincoln Project, maybe a couple others. But most of the others, I mean, what impact are they really having on these
yeah,
races? It's
yeah.
crazy to me.
Yep, it's true. It's
Yeah,
true. Well, I really appreciate you taking out time and
sure.
talking with me about all of this and giving me some exclusive news,
Mm-hmm.
exciting stuff that you
Yeah.
got going on here. Um, but yeah, so is there anybody that you think that you might be working on next?
Well, we're looking at Montana. We're looking at this
Okay.
knucklehead uh, that's running against our incumbent Democrat there. Um, so we're looking at that race. We've got a governor's candidate here in North Carolina who's a complete nut job.
Mm,
He is said once he's governor, he's going to push a total abortion ban here. And I don't think North Carolina is even as red as it can be in some parts of the state. I think North Carolina's similar to Georgia, where we're kind of moving out of the old red uh, mentality,
mm-hmm.
and the demographics are changing. And I'll tell you what, I think losing our Supreme Court here in North Carolina, we lost all the races in 22. We used to have a majority, and I think we're down to two
Oh, geez.
uh, out of the nine. And uh, that was a big wake up call to a lot of people in this state. And I think that's going to have
Mm,
repercussions in 20.
yeah. Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah. I talked to people who are on the right, and I have a lot of family members who even voted for Trump,
Mm-hmm.
and they are not on board with all of this abortion craziness and the
Mm-hmm.
extremism. They just don't agree with it.
Yeah. So this guy, Mark Robinson, is on the Republican side. And I think we're going to probably put him on, and we're going to take on this. Name escapes me right now, but Republican running in the United States Senate.
Okay. Hmm. Very
Should be
interesting.
fun.
Very
And we're
cool.
looking at a couple other races. I think we'll look maybe to a couple more congressionals, but there's only so much we can do effectively. We don't want to spread ourselves too thin.
Yeah.
And our primary target is who, Bobo the clown is. Um, so we can't, and that's where primarily funding that folks have given us is focused. But
Yeah.
as we as we look at other opportunities, John Tester is an amazing guy, and I met him many times, and I can't imagine the United States Senate without him. We gotta help him any way we can, and this Republican looks like there's plenty of fodder there. Jason.
Okay. Okay. Well, hopefully my audience will pitch in. Everybody go to AmericanMuckrakers.com. If you can donate, set up a monthly donation to help
Mhm.
get rid of these vile people or prevent others from taking office. Yeah. So I think you've proven yourself to, bring the goods and help out. And I think you're being um, you know, maybe a bit too coy about Madison Cawthorn. I think guys did a great job on him.
Yeah, and there
Um,
was a additive, or there was a kind of an additive equation there where everything we did seemed to add on top of the reasons to get rid of him, and it wasn't just the face humping video, as we call it. We were the first to discover that he had tried to take guns on planes. We got the
mm,
audio from the airport. We were the first to discover that he was taking knives to schools.
mm,
And that had, I think, a cumulative,
yeah,
cumulative effect on voters. And the new guy isn't much better, but he's not Madison Cawthorn, and he
yeah,
kind of knows his lane and knows that he's here to help people versus, Madison Cawthorn thought he was going to be president, and maybe he still does.
insane.
And his ability to raise money, I think we've helped curtail. He was
Yeah,
raising huge amounts of money for himself and other people. So even though some people are kind of upset the new guy is better, but uh,
yeah.
getting
There's
rid of
difference
Cawthorn
between
is
bad
our
and
focus.
crazy.
Well, and
That's,
our original intention was Cawthorn. It wasn't necessarily looking to the general because the district's still a almost plus 10 Republican district. That
mm,
makes it, plus 10's a lot of percentage makeup,
yeah,
unless you've got the right candidate with a lot of money and the right, um, a little bit of luck. And we just didn't see that. And so, we're stuck with this new guy, but uh, who knows what will happen.
yeah. Like I said, but better bad ideas and you know, traditional Republican than nut job.
Yeah, yeah. Fortunately, this guy has brought home the new guy's brought home some bacon on some projects that Cawthorn. I'm certainly not endorsing him, but he seems to understand his job is to help the district, not him.
Yeah, that's good. Well, thank you again so much. I really appreciate it. I know you're busy. I know you've got a lot of balls in the air right now, so
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate you taking the time out and sharing all the details with my audience firsthand.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Well, you've got a great show. I love
Thank you.
your the topics you talk about and your style
Thank you. I
and
appreciate that.
comments there. And I encourage folks to support you as well. And
Thank you.
have me back whenever, or I'll come back whenever you'd like. Happy to be
Yeah,
here.
yeah. And anytime you have an update on anything, just shoot me an email and I'd be happy to put something together and have you back on.
Okay, cool. Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Thank you so much.